What up, my boys? Let's do some videos. What's on for today? Thought you'd never ask. If you're new at this game, even if you're not, even if you're a veteran, we're going to talk about survivor perks and synergy, I guess. Synergy with like, and combos and shit. Perks that work well with other perks. Perks with synergy. Perks that you can combine and get more value out of, I guess, because they're together, if you know what I'm saying. So, I don't want to drag this video out too long, so let's just jump straight into it and try and pump this out. Let's start from the start. Ace in the hole. When you search a chest, you get additional add-ons on top of the item you just searched, plunder. So we compare this with plunder as instinct because that's going to tell us where the chests actually are. Plus it's going to increase the luck. So this with plunderers makes sense. You can use appraisal as well because you're going to search a chest, then research it. And every time you research it, you're getting additional add-ons. So that makes sense. Plunder is definitely appraisal. You can use that too. You could use up the ante to increase your luck. Next one, adrenaline. If you're using adrenaline, probably safe to assume that you think you can make it to the end game. That's why you're using it. If you didn't, you wouldn't bring it. So adrenaline, you could use hope, pair them together because you've already decided, well, I'm using adrenaline, I'm going to make it to the end game. Why not get a speed boost? But I think, honestly, resilience goes well with adrenaline because when the game's getting on, it's getting late and the gens are popping, maybe there's 2 gens left, there's 1 gen left. You're not really going to focus on healing as much because adrenaline's going to do the healing for you. So you could just stay injured and just pump out gens. You could use resilience. I think that's a kind of bit of a nuts combo. I kind of like it. Okay, Aftercare. I'm having a bit of a think. Aftercare, I feel like it gets the best value, or obviously, when you don't get hooked. Because when you get hooked, it obviously resets Aftercare. So things that can make you stay healthy, so like medkits, maybe botany, maybe self-care. You want to try and not get hooked essentially because you're going to lose your stacks. Alert, I literally can't think of anything alert kind of pairs with. You might be able to use it with spine shield. Trying to think of a combo here. You can leave a tile and then get their aura of the killer when they're breaking it. And then spine shield can tell you if they're looking at you still while you go one way. That's all I can think of, just off the top of my head. Any man's necessary. Resetting pallets. So you're obviously it's fine on its own, resetting pallets, but if you can pair it with life maybe. So if you throw the pallet and just get the stun, for example, you can vault the pallet, use life, and hopefully they chase and leave the pallet there, which they might do, which happens a fair bit. You dumb tech, vault the pallet, get the speed boost, they don't break, they just chase you. The pallet's left there sitting there, you can come back later hopefully and reset it. So life at any means necessary, kind of nuts. Or autodidact, you got to pair autodidact with empathy in my opinion. They are fantastic synergy. Use bond I guess as well, but you're obviously using autodidact on injured people, and empathy shows you where all the injured people are. Well, I mean, I think it's 128 meters, but it's pretty much going to show you where the injured people are. Babysitter, I feel like if you're using babysitter, you're in a way you're telling yourself, well, I'm going to go for hook saves because I'm using babysitter. So maybe BT with it. So when they get unhooked, they're not leaving scratch marks for 8 seconds, and if the killer is on them, at least they get a BT hit because you're going to be there anyway because you're using babysitter. So you've said to yourself, well, I'm going to maybe go for hooks because I'm bringing this perk for that. So maybe something that synergizes with unhooking people, and BT is probably the best. Balance landing, you could use vigil because it's an exhaustion perk, so vigil can go with it. But I've seen people use balance landing with dead hard. That way, if they don't get value out of the balance landing, they can still use dead hard. Okay, better together. Obviously, you're on a generator. People can see the gen you're working on. It's yellow. So maybe prove thyself because that's incentive for them to, well, first they know where the gen is. They can see you on it because of the yellow aura. Now, when they do come, here's a bonus to the speed of the repair. So prove thyself works. Okay, so blood pact kind of gives the incentive of staying together because if you stay together, you get the speed boost. So maybe things to increase the speed of healing, like botany or something, botany knowledge. Maybe prove thyself because I feel like there's emphasis on staying together because you want to get value of blood pact. If it's going to be more difficult for the killer to get you to a hook because of boil over, maybe you can pair it with stuff like flip flop, tenacity maybe, to kind of make it a little bit harder. And if they're going to take longer to get there, flip flop might actually push you over the line because of the recovery you've made. Bond, it's good for like not taking the killer to areas where your team are, but I think prove thyself kind of works with it, or botany knowledge, or desperate measures, or anything like that, because you're seeing where your team is. If they're on a gen, you go work with them, prove thyself. If they're injured, botany knowledge can heal them up, but it's a pretty good perk by itself, standalone. Borrowed time, you can use perks like, there's a lot that goes with it actually. Borrowed time, you could use desperate measures to make the unhooking quicker. Dead hard as well if you want to get extra spicy. I mean, if you take a hit in the process, you take a hit getting them, then you've got desperate measures to speed up the unhook, and then you can dead hard so that the killer swings and hits the borrowed time survivor. Anything that you pretty much, what synergizes with unhooking a survivor. So if you're going to unhook a survivor, that's your intention, you got BT, you could use stuff like maybe deliverance, because you're guaranteed to get deliverance pretty much. You need to get a safe unhook for deliverance to actually work, to actually activate. Borrowed time is going to give you a safe unhook, so you could use a bunch of stuff. We'll make it will work as well. If the killer is camping, it's going to be a safe unhook no matter what. If they're not camping and you unhook, borrowed time doesn't get any value, but now you get value from we'll make it. So it's going to be a safe unhook no matter what. And if borrowed time doesn't activate, doesn't proc, that means you can stay there and heal them. So you can use we're going to live forever. It's so much stuff works with this perk. Botany knowledge. Botany goes well with self-care. Self-care by itself sucks. Botany by itself isn't too bad though. So them two go together well. You could even use desperate measures if you want to, but it's a pretty good perk in my opinion by itself. Breakdown is a tough one. I can't think of anything off the top of my head really. Even when I was thinking about this yesterday, I can't think of anything that kind of goes with breakdown. It feels like just a standalone terrible perk. But feel free to let me know in the comments. Breakout, you could use saboteur with this, sorry. You're going to be faster than the killer in most cases getting to the hook, and when you get there first you can sabo the hook. You could use breakout with Metal Man, which is what I used to do a bit. I like that combo. Buckle Up I think it's a standalone perk that's kind of terrible, but you might be able to pair it with something like We're Going to Live Forever. You can look at the auras and see who needs picking up first, and use the speed of We're Going to Live Forever to pick them up quicker, essentially. And if you do pick them up in a hurry and the killer comes back to hit you guys, or hit the injured survivor you just picked up, maybe you can take a hit, and that's a stack of We're Going to Live Forever. So just thinking out loud, but I think this perk is pretty bad by itself. Built to last, it depends on the item you're bringing in. If you're bringing in a toolbox, you could bring Streetwise, you could bring Prove Thyself. If we're bringing a med kit, you could bring Built to Last, obviously, and Botany Knowledge, or Streetwise as well. So, those couple perks work. Calm Spirit, I just think off the top of my head, it seems to do okay with Iron Will. You're not screaming, you're not making any noises like that. Plus, you're going to be silent if you're injured. I just feel like them two kind of go together, but I can't even pronounce this next one. Camaraderie. You think this perk is going to see value, that would indicate that the killer is camping or proxy camping. You're going to need something like Decisive Strike. Dance With Me goes well with Quick and Quiet and Lithe. I feel like if you quick and quiet a window, which is pretty much silent, on top of that, they're not going to be able to find your scratch marks. And I think Lithe pairs with it well, because Dance With Me has a 40-second cooldown, and so does Lithe. Do you see what I'm saying? You can vault the window with Lithe, get the speed boost, lose the scratch marks, and if you've got Quick and Quiet there as well, it's going to be a silent vault. Dead Hard, it's an exhaustion perk, so you could use Vigil. You could use Resilience with the intention of staying injured and having Dead Hard there when you need it, and just stay injured and get value out of Resilience. But Dead Hard Vigil, kind of good. You can use Dead Hard BT and Dead Hard through the killer swing and make the killer hit the BT survivor. Deception, you could use Deception with Quick and Quiet, Deception with Head On, but the three of them together I think work nicely, but that's a pretty good trio of perks. Deception, Head On, Quick and Quiet. Decisive Strike, you can use it with Deliverance. You unhook yourself, you're going to be injured, so you're vulnerable, you can't heal up, but you've still got Decisive Strike to fall back on. You can jump in a locker. it's kind of nice being able to unhook yourself and then know that you're safe with Decisive Strike for 60 seconds. You could use Decisive Strike and Unbreakable. A lot of people kind of give shit to that combo of perks, but you could use that. That way you kind of can't be touched for 60 seconds, if you know what I mean. Deja Vu, revealing the generators to you. So if you know where the generators are and you jump on one, you could use Better Together to then reveal that generator you're working on to somebody else or to the other teammate. So I think there's some synergy there. And Desperate Measures, I think, goes well with BT. You're getting increased unhook speed and you can use BT with it, Dead Hard with it. You can also use Desperate Measures with things like a healing sort of build, like a Botany Knowledge, maybe Self-Care as well if you wanted to. Detective's Hunch, pop a gen, and then within 64 meters, obviously, all this shit's getting revealed. All this good stuff, all this juicy stuff of the killers is getting revealed. Totems, the lot. We're seeing the totems. Once a gen pops within 64 meters, let's use Inner Strength, so that when we see where the totems are, we can cleanse one, and then we have Inner Strength as like a backup heal, I guess. Diversion, you could use this with Urban Invasion, and Urban Invasion close to the killer, make sure you're in their terror radius. You could use it with the Red Herring, so you have a sort of like a Duke kind of build. You've got Diversion and Red Herring, so there's a combo there. Empathy goes well with Auto Diet, literally made for each other. You can use Empathy with Botany Knowledge, so when you find them you can heal them faster. Fast Track goes well with This Is Not Happening, because This Is Not Happening turns your good skill checks into great skill checks, which is going to proc this perk, so them two go together well. Fixated you can use with Sprint Burst, good combo there. Just walk with Fixated, which is going to save your Sprint Burst, and then when you have to Sprint Burst. Flip Flop, you can use Tenacity, Unbreakable, all those hard to hook me build type stuff. Boil Over if you really wanted to. For the people, I think Dead Hard goes well with it. If you need to use For the People in a gym, like someone's on death hook, they've just been downed, you can run over For the People and then maybe Dead Hard for distance. But Resilience goes well with this because you're going to be permanently injured, nothing you can do about it for 90 seconds, so you can get Resilience value. I've used For the People with Resilience and Inner Strength before. I endure 90 seconds of being injured, get the speed boost from Resilience, and then when I'm done, go jump into a locker. Head On definitely goes with Quick and Quiet. They are hand in hand. I don't like bringing Head On without Quick and Quiet, and I can't remember the last time I did. So Head On, bang, Quick and Quiet. You can also bring Deception if you want, but Head On, Quick and Quiet, best combo. Hope implies that you're going to make it to the end game, so you could bring Adrenaline with it. Hope and Adrenaline. Iron Will. Okay, Iron Will and Dead Hard I think are really good as a combo because of this thing called Unique Pathing. And that's where it comes into shine. I think if you're going to try Unique Pathing, Iron Will is a must, and Dead Hard will help you with a mistake, or if you get outplayed, or if it doesn't go the way you think. So I think them two work well. Kindred, open-handed, baby. Just got a buff too. So Kindred, open-handed. To be honest, I don't use Leader much, but to me, it implies that you're going to be around other people. So maybe stuff that affects that. So you could bring Bond and Leader, because if you find somebody, yeah, Leader works for others, so you need to find other people. That's where Bond comes in, or Empathy, but things that help find survivors. What's happening, you cheeky buggers? Hey, sorry to do this to you, but this video is taking way longer than I thought. There's more content and more stuff I have to put together. I severely underestimated how long it would take, so I'm going to have to split this video into two parts. We'll call this part 1, obviously, and I'll release part 2, I guess, in a few days. So sorry about that, my boys. Anyway, take it easy, you good looking motherfuckers.